You know, I don't know why you love me, but I'm just grateful. And I don't know why you let me use my powers to do whatever I want to do to you, but I'm just grateful. And I don't know what would ever make anybody care about my existence, but I'm just grateful. Because when I started this, I thought about Jesus. And I thought about how Mary Magdalene loved Jesus all the way through. Pure love. And Jesus spit on dirt and put it on eyeballs. Jesus took a piss in corners right next to people who were so sick it was so sad. And he was so desperate. And he took a shit. He would take a shit with Mary Magdalene and the disciples and more knowing. They would take a shit right next to people that like had toxic blood and stuff. And their life was not worth living, and everybody knew their life was just not worth living. So the disciples and Jesus would take their shit right around where they, could most of them couldn't leave their houses barely and stuff. So they'd take a shit as close as they needed to and try to be non-offensive about it. Like put it under the dirt or near the dirt, but like a shrine. Like a weird shrine around where the person was sick, and they'd always get better and they wouldn't suffer anymore. And Jesus always said, I don't need this in a Bible, and I don't need this to make me look good, and I don't need this in the spirituality of God when they can't even get out of their house, and when their life is suffering so bad they don't really even have life or happiness anymore. I'm just grateful those miracles happen. Even if it doesn't end up on permanent record. So see, a lot of his miracles didn't end up well known. But the point is, wouldn't you wonder if Mary Magdalene could even love him after he's so weird and bizarre? And then Mary and Joseph were a middle-class family. So Mary Magdalene watched Jesus walk out of a middle-class family to live like a weird homeless hobo, traveling from place to place, swearing that the miracles and life and tomorrow are all that matters, talking shit to the churches, like I do, talking shit against governments, like I do, and just grateful for the miracles. But Jesus didn't expect anybody could love him when he's so ridiculously weird, because all that matters is the power of God and the things that matter. And the fight against bad once and for all. But Mary Magdalene followed him everywhere, loved him beyond words, and would have given up everything and anything just to watch him be happy. But of course, she was afraid to die when the time came. So Mary Magdalene was one of the few women with Mary the mother and Joseph the dad. Mary Magdalene was one of the few people that was trying to fight against large piles of people saying, crucify Jesus, crucify Jesus, crucify Jesus. So Pontius Pilate, so there was this really big congregation. And Pontius Pilate said, I don't want to be responsible for killing Jesus because I've realized the consequence. Now, he still paid the consequence. Why? Because he could have completely said, I'm Pontius Pilate. I rule the area. Jesus just won't die, figured out. But he tried to act all slimy. Well, I can't stop this because the world wants it, but I don't agree to it. No, you still could have stopped things, so you're still guilty. Just want to talk weird. Watch out for a judge that says this hurts me to do to you when you know what they're doing to you isn't right. Sometimes a judge will say, it hurts me to give you this prosecution, but I know you did it. And that judge knows you didn't do it and just wants to be gross and talk weird so that one day he'll seem like a victim who's put in a predicament and has no choice. And you're like, nuh-uh. Yeah, so watch out for corruption. That's just corruption. That's when things get corrupt and they learn how to talk weird and gross to try to make sure that their permanent records makes them seem like a victim when they're not. Weird, warped criminal mentality stuff. But anyway, So Pontius Pilate was stuck. And like the whole, like everybody who could show up, showed up. Literally everyone who could show up, showed up. And they were all screaming and yelling, crucify him. They had gotten really excited watching him getting beat with all those whips. And they wanted him dead just to be evil and just to be gross. And Mary and Joseph, Mary Magdalene, and a small group were trying to fight and say, but he works miracles. How can he be a blasphemer? But he's a good, honest boy. And man, we have people that know he worked a miracle. They saw it. How can you do this? And of course, the larger group wanted him killed. And deep down, Pontius Pilate just wanted to allow it. And everybody knows it. So he died, right? But how could Mary Magdalene love him through the whole thing? He got beat with whips. So him and Jesus, I mean, Jesus and God might have worked miracles, but now he's getting whipped with whips like he ain't shit but a fuck you day. Then Mary Magdalene's at a cross where he can't bleed and be a loser dead thing enough. And yet she never stopped loving him. To this day in heaven, she loves her Jesus very much. And it's like everything I ever wanted to find out. Although the more my life gets horrible, and the more these countries sit on me and make my life so horrible, the more I realize maybe it's too hard to love some things. So I just wanted to tell that boy that really is mine, all mine, all mine. Thank you. I don't know what possesses him to let me use all my powers and do everything and anything I want. I can help him get dressed. I could say good morning in the morning. I could try to help make him breakfast. I could try to help his car be extra full of power. I can try to make his shower smell like fun little smells that I'm dreaming of would make him smell just like a perfume I would make in his honor or something. He just lets me sit and use all my powers to spoil his everything that he allows. And yeah, I don't want to be a claustrophobic, so I'll only do things when he lets me. But when he lets me do things for him, he lets me do whatever I want to do. I can use my powers to make his coffee out of dreams. I can use my powers to make his food out of dreams. He just lets me do whatever I want. And he's really loving and really sweet and just lets me use my powers to spoil his life however I want or pick. But it's like, but how can you love me when so many things have so many things to say? But, you know, Mary Magdalene almost was chosen by gods to marry Jesus. And she was a nobody human. Gods don't even believe in a nobody human. Gods don't even like a nobody human unless they become a saint or something big and important. And yet Mary Magdalene was so beautiful, they thought about transforming her into Jesus' wife. One of those monumental things that I guarantee doesn't really ever happen. So I thought, well, this is kind of cool. Mary Magdalene made all the gods dream about the ultimate husband that would join with me and be an ultimate husband with unlimited power and reality. Now, this boy that's mine, all mine, doesn't really say or not say whether he'd want to be in the magnitude of the family of God or not. But he's the first one that's just so loving that he doesn't care what my life is or is not. He's like the man that you know would love a cancer woman all the way till her death day, where most men would divorce them and say they just can't handle it or whatever. So thanks for being some kind of miraculous, amazing man. And thank you for every second or day you give me. I'm a God, dead and more. I'm pretty realistic in the head. So thank you. And always let me know what more I can do. Don't want to be too claustrophobic, but it's really fun to do stuff. So whatever else you could think of that you might need help with to do. Thank you.